right. Hello, everybody. So, I see a lot of you are still coming in. Thank you, everybody, for being here right on time. Can you just tell me in the chat to make sure that you hear me okay? A little thumb up. Yes, thanks, Erin. All right, so if you have a little bit, if you want to have a little bit of fun, tell me in the chat, where are you from? And if you could rename artificial intelligence, I hate this term. I already told you that, I know. Into something more fun, how would you call it? Hello, Lisbon, Italy, France, Baltimore, Paris. We are neighbors. Romania. Oh my God, so many people. Italy, Calgary, London. Smartass. Oh, I love this name. I see some creativity in this chat. Hello, Elise. Wow, yes, so many people. So just, yeah, before we start, what time is it? 4 minutes already, but let's have everybody come in. And while you are waiting for the presentation to start, you can try to find a fun new name for artificial intelligence. AI, ask it anything, good one. Jazz Jam Intelligence, love it. Robot Helper, good. Ask Jeeves Brain Booster. I think a good name should be Probability Machine. Yeah, Eduardo, you know me. I agree with you, but I ask for a fun one. Just call it Robot. Chatty. All right. Thanks a lot thank you very much for doing a little check-in exercise. And I think that now we can start. So, welcome to 15 real-world Gen AI use cases for facilitators and trainers. And before we dive in, I'd like to highlight 3 words from that title. So the first word is use case. Use case. You know why? Because sure, you can find tons of prompt libraries out there, but what we really need to see are actual examples of putting AI to work. And the second word is real world, because I'm not here to show you some shiny, fancy demos. These are the tools and techniques that me and other facilitators are using in their work. And finally, the word for, because it's not about AI for the technology. It's about what can AI do for you. AI that makes your job easier and your workshop better. All right, so think about everything you do as a facilitator or a trainer. You sell, you prepare your workshop, you facilitate your workshop, you document your workshop, etc. Well, there is one use case for that. Well, actually, you know what? Let me correct myself. There isn't a use case. There are hundreds of them, tons of them. Hundreds of use cases to help you sell, hundreds of use cases to help you prepare, hundreds of use cases well, you get it, right? And I call these micro use cases, the small practical ways to use AI that add up to make the big difference in your work. And today, I'm going to show you 15 of them. Just before we start, Fernando, as you are my co-host today, can you please also monitor the chat so that, because I can't do everything at once, so monitor the chat, and if you see some important questions of issue, feel free to interrupt me.
Yeah, there is one question about recording, Alex, if it will be recorded and shared.
Yes, it is recorded, and the recording will be available to you for about a week, I think, or 3 days. So yes, there will be, and there will also be a gift bag, but more on that in a couple of slides. That's all, Fernando? Okay. So, before we start, not everybody knows me. So, I'm Alex. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a facilitator. And you know, those big workshops where you have hundreds of people in the room? Well, that's my thing. And I run a facilitation agency, and we are specialized in large group workshops, and we've done hundreds of these sessions. Also, I've been obsessed with one question since 2012. How can technology make facilitation better? And this is an obsession that led me to create Storms. And for those of you who don't know Storms, it's a digital tool. And Facilitator loves Storms because it's super easy to use for participants. And technology, well, AI is technology. And since 2015, I've been looking at AI as a way, to solve my problem of having hundreds of contributions and not being able to make sense of them. But in 2015, oh my God, it was super inefficient at that time. Alessia, thank you for this comment. I love storms. I'm going to send you the. Oh, Margaret. Okay, thank you all for that. Okay, so AI in 2015, really bad. Now, now we can talk about AI in 2024. So one thing that matters, I'm not here to talk theory. Everything that I share today, I have tested it and used it in both in storms and also in my workshops. And by the way, it turns out I'm not the only one excited about this stuff. Last year, I've started the AI Thinkers Club. It's a community to share what works with AI and also what doesn't work with AI. Right now, we are over 600 facilitators, trainers, coaches, experts, all tinkering together. So right now, I've closed the membership a couple of weeks ago, but tonight, well, I've got something special planned for for those of you who are not members yet. Something you don't know about me, I'm also a trail runner. And you know what? When you do a race and when you finish the race, they give you the finisher's gift. I love it because it means, yeah, I made it. Well, today you are in a marathon too of GenAI use cases. And just like in trail running, I've got something special for everyone who's going to cross the finish line with me and get to the Q&A session in 60 minutes. You're going to get your very own finisher gift bag. And you know what's inside? You're going to get some prompts that we'll see today, a couple of secret tricks too. You're going to get 3 months of unlimited access to Storms Pro with all the AI features so that you can test some of the strategies that I'm going to show tonight. And finally, you're going to get an exclusive chance for those of you who are not members to grab a spot at the AI Thinkers Club. So I hope that all of that will be enough to make you endure my French accent terrible for 60 minutes. So enough French bashing, let's start. And we're going to start by taking a look at what GenAI can do to help us when we are preparing and designing workshops. And you'll see that different ways to assess your design, improve your instructions, design a decision-making session, and more. Remember, really the idea here is that I want to inspire you. As I told you, there are hundreds of ways to use GenAI in your work. So I won't be able to show you everything. I just want to inspire you so that you can get started if you haven't done already tomorrow. All right, let's start with the blind spot detector. And this one is an homage to one of the members that is here tonight. I've seen you, Vanessa, because it comes from you. So Um, Sorry, my parents were calling me. I forgot to mute my phone. So the first use case comes from Vanessa. Are you here? Whoop, whoop. Yes, you are. He's a member of the AI Thinkers Club, and he shared a clever workflow that combines several AI-powered steps. So this is what you said. By the way, feel free to comment if I say something wrong about you. So in fact, you start by recording a phone call with yourself, Vanessa, and you think out loud about a topic you want to explore. So I really like the idea about rambling about the outcome. Then he asks the AI to summarize the transcript, which give him a concise set of clean notes. So, okay, so that's a classic use of AI, simple, yet effective, and yet something you could not absolutely do 5 years ago. And that's voice to text transcription. But really, my favorite part of your workflow, Vanessa, it's the blind spot detector. First of all, I like the name. But so Vanessa asked AI to detect the blind spot in his reasoning. So let's take a moment to appreciate the power of what is a blind spot detector. It's an assess use case, and it's one of my favorite way to use the AI. Okay, it means that you're not using AI to do your work, but you're using AI to push you to raise the bar. So, for example, it can highlight the pros and cons of your ideas, point out the potential gaps or weaknesses. You're making really, when you're doing an assess, you're making the best of the technology. So, as I was inspired by Vanessa's idea, I created a blind spot detector prompt because I don't think you shared the exact prompt with us, Vanessa. But so I created one myself. And you know what? I've put it in our use case library because at the AI Thinkers Club, we are just starting in creating the biggest use case library in the world for facilitators and trainers. And it will be included in your finisher bag. When you see the little icon like that, it means that the prompt will be in your bag. So this way you can steal the prompt, test it out, and tweak it to fit your needs. All right, let's go to the next use case. It's going to show how I use AI. So this is specific to my own way of working. How I use AI to go from a high-level workshop design to a detailed polish plan. So when I prepare a workshop, I start by creating a visual macro design on a whiteboard. And then once I've done my draft, I'm using Session Lab to fine-tune the details, timing, and flow of the session. By the way, if you are still using Excel for workshop timing, I highly recommend giving a Session Lab a try. I don't know if some people from Session Lab are there. Yes, Deb. Haha, excellent. So Deb, feel free to drop a link to your app in the chat for everyone to check out. Yes, Session Lab is great. I use it for all my workshops. Okay, back to the use case now. So this is the way I was working before AI, right? And moving from that macro design to the detailed step-by-step plan was really time-consuming. I needed to write out each step, and I needed to write them clearly because this is a document that I share with my client. But with the help of the AI, the process is much faster and easier. So this is what I do. I take a screenshot of my whiteboard, so 5 seconds, and then I prompt ChatGPT to transcribe it. But look at the difference. It's not a basic transcription, okay? It refines everything, the titles. It adds some description. For example, it has identified the main sections like opening here, and then the sub-steps like here, the etiquette, here, etiquette. And it crafts each title and description in a consistent style. So each one of the group title are nouns, each one of the step title are with action verbs, each one of the description are simple one sentence. So I have a beautifully crafted document in just a couple of seconds. All right, so now, that's not all, because what I do, in fact, let me come back here, is that I also use the AI feature of Session Lab. So the only thing I have to do is copy, just one copy and paste of everything that ChatGPT does. I put it into the AI assistant of Session Lab, and voila, it imports all the titles and descriptions in seconds. So that the only thing I need to do now is fine tune the minutes and stuff like that. By the way, now that I know that I have the team from Session Lab, one quick note, I still have to create the groups manually, so that might be an idea for a future improvement. Voila, so just like that, in 15 minutes, I'm ready to refine the timing and design my workshop. So what's the key takeaway here? So first thing, remember, I just need to take a screenshot of my whiteboard. I'm leveraging something that is called multimodalities, okay? And because, let me show you that. Yeah, I'm gonna use my cards. So a traditional AI assistant, it transforms text into text, okay? But here, when I was using the screenshot of Session Lab of my macro design on Whimsical, I was putting an image in an output, okay? And before, with the example from the voice recorder, we were also using multimodalities with multimodal inputs, and the audio was transcribed into text. And why do I point out that? It's because one of the crucial points, and one of the reasons people don't see all the things that they can do with AI, is that they don't know the full capabilities of their AI tools. Only if you do know about all the multimodal input, multimodal output, all the external capabilities, you will find plenty of new ways to use generative AI in your work. Okay. The slides are blurry, maybe slightly. I'm sorry if it's the case, but I cannot do more. Okay, so that was the another use case. Okay, let's do a simple one. Once my workshop design is in place, the next step is to write down the most important instruction for participants. I don't do that for every instructions, but sometimes I struggle with formulating these instructions, especially when I know that I don't have much time to explain. So here is a very simple prompt, but it's a two-step prompt that helps me refine my instructions. So I provide the AI with a rough, ugly draft of instruction here. And then it's working in two steps. The first thing that it is doing, assess again, remember, assess. It assesses the clarity of the instructions. And then, but only after that, it improves the formulation of the instruction. Stand up and find a partner, ask them why they are here, then let them ask you the same when I signal switch partners and repeat. And it was really good, really good. But a warning now, in this example, the AI revised instructions were really, really good, and I simply had to copy and paste the results. However, an output from an AI is rarely perfect. And even with a well-crafted prompt, you can expect results to be, I don't know, 80 to 90% good. And this brings us to the sandwich principle. The sandwich principle is the most important principle whenever you use GenAI for whatever task. So you should always apply the sandwich principles when using AI. You start by providing the best possible human input. That's the first layer here. Then you let AI do the job with the best possible prompt. And then you always have to end with human refinement. So in our example, I fed the AI with an instruction, a draft instruction, that very ugly in form, but containing all the necessary detail. Then I have a good prompt that is a two-step prompt, and I let the AI do its job. And finally, you will need to perform the last layer of the sandwich. Don't copy and paste just like that. Quality control, refine the text, add your own tone of voice, add your humor, add your French accent, whatever you need. So voilà, please remember the sandwich principle. This is probably the most important part of this webinar. All right, let's go to the next use case. Oh, yes, this prompt is part of the finisher bag. So, by the way, you see the assess and rewrite process. It works for any kind of task, not just workshop instruction. So here is another example of assess and improve. And here, it's going to assess the clarity of my slide and then rewrite it. And what it does is I paste a screenshot of my slide into the AI tool. So that's, again, image to text. Then I ask it to describe the slide. Then I ask it to do the assess, write 3 pros and 3 cons. And we're going to see that. Now I have 3 pros and 3 cons. And then it builds on that, because now that the pros and cons are within the context window, it can do a better job at providing me some revised content. So again, what do we learn from this use case? The first thing is you see that I really love image as an input, because it's super fast to take a screenshot of whatever you are doing and feed it to ChatGPT. And second, the multiple step prompts. If you ask the AI to assess before improving, it can significantly improve the ability to predict a good answer. Next one. So AI can be a powerful tool for complex strategic tasks, but it can also help with simple everyday tasks. Take Anna, for example. She's also a member of the club. She was creating a survey in Mentimeter. I don't know if you know, it's a great audience engagement tool. And she needed 12 distinct colors for her 12 voting categories. All right. So instead of wasting her time fiddling with the color palette, well, she turned to ChatGPT with a simple 2-line text prompt, and ChatGPT generated a set of 12 visually appealing, clearly distinct colors, perfect for the survey. No, not perfect, as usual, maybe 80% perfect or 90% perfect, but at least it saves you time. Now, remember, I have something fun. Remember what I said about mastering the full capabilities of your AI tools? Well, so you have ChatGPT, but you also have Claude AI, and probably the best competitor to ChatGPT. And with Claude, we can take it a step further, because let's say that we want not only to generate the colors, but also to create a mini application to view the colors and copy the Xcode. So watch this. I'm going to do a demo. Yeah. So I need Claude. Okay. So right now I'm in Claude, and I'm going to ask it. So I have a prompt that is ready, but look at that, a 2-line prompt only. Generate a list of 12 colors list then create an app. All right, I'm going to send that. And watch that. First of all, it answers because I asked it to list them first. And now it is coding, right? It is creating an application using some JavaScript. And voila. Now it is running the app. So not only it is able to code, but it is also able to run the app. And look at that. I have my colors. And maybe I can see that, oh, these two are quite similar. And I have a color picker and I can change them. And now I can click here and copy and paste. All right. So first of all, it's an interesting exercise to understand what happens behind the hood. So I'm going to get my cards again. So what you have here is that first I did a text input, right? Asking for the 12 colors. And the first thing that it did, well, it answered by text, but also it created some code. So like a programmer, it created some code, which is just a variation of text, right? But with code alone, you can't do anything. So this code, so there was a second step in the way it worked. This code was fed as an input, and then it used an external capability that is called the code sandbox. And the code sandbox is where the magic happens because it was able to run the code and then to show the application as an output inside Claude. So this is why you're able to see that. And by the way, if you want to have fun with the application, you know that we can also, in Claude, it's called the artifacts, and you can share them with other people. So if you scan this code, sorry. If you scan this code, you're going to be able to play with the artifact. Okay, so again, same key takeaway. You need to know that the capabilities even exist. Then you can unlock a tons of possibilities. And it was only 2 lines. What is really crazy is that, let me show you again. Yeah, we don't see it exactly here, but the initial prompt was only 2 lines. All right, let's go to something that is here. It's more an example of co-working with an AI. So that's why I like this use case. And it's about decision-making workshop. So anytime I have a strategic decision or a risk analysis workshop, I often use an evaluation tool that is called multiple criteria evaluation. And I'm going to show you how I do that in Storms, just so that you understand what are the tasks that are involved. So let me show you. So this is Storms, and here I'm doing a risk analysis. It's a fake one, obviously. And we have listed several risks. And let's say that we have to evaluate the risk that participants are difficult to manage. So I have 2 criteria. So that's why it's called a multiple criteria. I could have 3 or 4. And the impact of participants being difficult would be major. And the likelihood would be, I've not seen that so much. So let's say it's rare. So I've done my evaluation and all of the other people would do the same. And then boss is challenging to work with. Well, that has also a high impact. So let's put that major too. But the likelihood of the boss being an assault, yes, definitely can be. So let's say it's probable. All right, so after you review the card, you see the final score, and you can say, okay, we need to do something about that, and maybe we don't need to do something about that. And in Storms, by the way, you also have this cool visualization where you could see all the different things. But that's not the point here. Um, why do I show you that? Because when you prepare such a meeting, you have a few. Let me show you. You have a few things to show. You no, let me do that first. So when you prepare for such a meeting, a multiple criteria evaluation session, you need to do several things. You need to identify the criteria. It's not so easy, right? You have plenty of possibilities. You have to, once you have selected them, you have to document each criteria with a clear title, a description, so that the participant really understand the meaning. And once you have a criteria, you have to decide on an evaluation scale. And for each one of the point on the scale, you have to provide a label for each one of the points. So let's say that you have 3 criteria, and for each one of the criteria, you have a 10-point scales. You need to create 30 labels. So it's super time consuming. So with GenAI, now that I have GenAI to do that, it saves a significant amount of time, and I end up with better defined criteria than what I was able to do myself. So if you look on the slide here, that's the first part. I'm co-working with the AI. I'm co-working, I'm brainstorming with it. It's going to give me 20 or 30. I explain the context of my workshop and decision, and it's going to give me 20 or 30 criteria. And then we're going to co-work together to find the 2 or 3 or 4 that I'm going to select. Here, at the end, I have selected 3, and it is able to give me some description for each one of it. And so that's already great. It helped me to select the good criteria. But now I can also ask the AI for the titles, the short descriptions, and each one of the label for each one of the point of the scale. Can you imagine how much of a time saver it is? It's really awesome. Again, it's 80% good or 90% good. You still have to do the final layer of your sandwich. But anyway, it's a superb use case, I think. I'm using it every time. Now Storms needs to be able to import the setup. That would be, I'm not sure a lot of people would use that feature, but that would be great indeed. By the way, one of the things I'm doing is that I am taking a screenshot of the interface of Storm, and I'm just putting the screenshot inside ChatGPT and say, okay, I need to fill in the form, and it is able to understand the form and give me all the details. So now I'm so lazy, I don't write instructions anymore. I just copy and paste this a screenshot, and it does the job. All right, next use case in the design. It's the last one in the design and prep category. And it's probably one of the most complex. So I won't have the time to dive into the details. By the way, about time, 36, okay. I won't have time to dive into the details of how I do it, but I want to show you that it is absolutely possible to do it. And if you want to learn more, I did a session on this topic earlier this year, and the recording is available to the members of the AI Thinkers Club. So in this use case, I use the AI to transform the recording of a scope meeting into a formal scope document. The scope meeting is probably the most important prep meeting that I do with my clients. And you see these 3 circles. I discuss the objective, the participant benefit, the constraint, and really my goal is to detect any disconnects between these 3 circles. And I always work in the same way and ask the same question. And this is an opportunity for the AI. So I'm going to show you an overview of how it is done. So first, the meeting voice recording is transformed into a raw text transcript by an AI, so nothing special here. And then comes the most important part. Okay, I use a very specific prompt, and also a detailed specification document that provides all the context for it to analyze the transcript through the lens of aligning the three circles. And I have two outputs in the end. The first one is a scope meeting document that is 80 to 90% good. So it's a huge time saver. But also, and again, it's an assess use case. It detects if I forgot to ask some questions. Because in the spec document, it has all the questions that I should ask to make sure that everything is aligned. And if in the recording some of the questions are missed, then it's going to detect it, formulate the questions so that I can copy and paste this question, refine them, of course, and then send an email to the client for a follow-up. So the key learning here. So first of all, in this use case, I was using an advanced capability that is called data retrieval. Yeah, I don't have it here, but basically, when you have data outside of the knowledge of an AI, you have to feed it with external data. So this is what I did with my spec document. And again, it's important to understand all the capabilities of a modern assistant. But the key learning here is that if you do something repeatedly, and I do this scope meeting every time I have a new workshop, well, you can invest some time in building such a complex workflow because you're going to have a return on investment. Because here, with this approach, now I can send my scope meeting document with all the follow-up questions the next day. And yeah, they can be impressed by that, or at least I can save a lot of time and do a trail running session instead. All right, back to the slides. And let's have a look at the next category of use case. So before we were using AI ourselves to prepare our workshops, our training. Now we're going to see how can you use AI live during a workshop for you or for the participants or with the participants. And we're going to see some fun icebreakers. We're going to see the right way to brainstorm with an AI. We're going to see the dangerous pitfalls of AI clustering, and we're going to see more. Okay, so let's start with check-ins. I love this one. It's a new one. So here, the idea is to use AI to create customized check-in questions for your workshop, exactly like the one you had at the beginning of this webinar. You can use it to prep your check-in questions before the workshop, like I did, but it would also be super fun to try it out with your participants live during the workshop. So, we all have long list of check-in questions, we have card decks and stuff like that. So what would be the benefit of using AI? The first thing is that AI is going to tailor the question based on the context of your workshop. It's not going to be generic check-ins. It's going to be relevant to what you are doing in your workshop. The second thing is that I have added a feature that generates a related image for each one of the check-in questions. So let me show you. So here you see that you have a check-in question here, if you could have any superpower, blah, blah, blah. And then you have a fun image that was generated. So it adds a memorable visual element to the exercise. And also I have created a custom GPT for this. So feel free to scan it and give it a try. You're going to see it works really great. And also the prompt is available in the use case library at the AI Thinkers Club. And you'll also find the prompt in the finishers gift bag that I share at the end of this webinar. But you know what? I really love this one. So let's do a quick live demo of it. So, paf. Let's get back to ChatGPT. And here I have my check-in. And okay. I am doing a webinar about 15 real-world use cases for generating AI. Give me 3 check-ins, including a fun one. What's one skill or technique you're hoping to learn today? That's a little bit boring. If you could ask an AI one question to help you with your next workshop, what would it be? Not bad. The QR code is finished. What do you mean is finished?
Looks like it is not published, Alex. It's there is a missing part of the
Oh,
QR code.
that's weird because I tested everything. Okay, anyway, the link is in. Yeah, right. So I post it in. I'll finish it after the session. Okay. Anyway, here is the demo. So what's a quirky and unexpected way you've seen AI used recently? I like this one. And I'm going to ask a picture for free. Yeah, I see it's not finished. I'm going to try to do something about that. Why it is. Okay, so here's an illustration. And you could do the same for each one of them. So again, you're going to get the link later today, and feel free. Oh, maybe what I can do. No, I can do better. Mais je suis bête. Copy link, chat. Bah oui. You see, with the stress of the webinar, I forgot the obvious. What about copyright for these images? Well, they have been generated by the AI, so you can use them. If some people are going to get some problem with copyright, it's OpenAI, not you. All right, so let's go to the next use case. Thank you for the help. No, it was not the conversation link that I posted, was it? Otherwise, share, copy link. Voilà. This one should be good. Okay, let's get back to our slides. Okay, so now we are going to speak about the infamous use of AI for brainstorming ideas. And we are entering a kind of danger zone here because we definitely don't want the AI to replace the participants in generating ideas, right? So what do we want instead? We can have an AI generate ideas for us. We can do that, but only if we follow these three key principles. Okay, and the sandwich, you already know about it, but then you have two others. You have the springboard and you have the self-disclosure. So let's see how we can apply this principle in practice. Oh, maybe before I can explain. So the sandwich, you start with human input, you apply AI, and then you end with human refinement. The springboard is you use the AI ideas as a starting point for further human ideation. Okay, springboard. And self-disclosure is to be very transparent about when and how AI is being used. So now I'm going to show you how you can do that in your next workshop. And I'm going to give you two examples each time, one with storms and one with a whiteboard. It will be Miro. So that basically you can do that with any kind of software. You just have to be creative if the feature doesn't exist natively. So self-disclosure is all about being transparent about when and how AI is being used. The one thing that you really don't want is to have an AI generate some ideas and the participants not knowing that these ideas have been generated by an AI. The downside of it is that if they know there is an AI, they can have a kind of bias about it, but I prefer this bias than being, you know, not knowing that an idea was AI generated. So in Storms, it's automatic. Every AI generated idea has a little bot emoji on it. And in Miro, you have several ways of doing it. You can manually add a bot emoji. You can multi-select and then add a bot like that. And I recommend using specific colors for AI ideas. All right, so that's a way to apply self-disclosure. The second best practice is also the sandwich principle. So you see here that I am starting by asking the participant to generate their own ideas. Always. I'm never starting with the AI generated ideas. Then and only then I bring in the AI to generate a second set of ideas. And you need to make sure that the AI, that you're using a tool that has access to the participant ideas for context, so that the ideas generated are different from the first ones, but are also relevant. The AI is going to learn from the first ideas of the participants. So Storms does this automatically. In Miro, it really depends on the feature that you are using, but you can do it also. And remember, I'm teaching the principles. It's up to you to find the best ways to apply them with your specific software. So continuing with the sandwich principle, never end with the AI ideas, but always end with human input. And here we apply the springboard principle. You ask the participant to build both on their ideas, the first layer, but also on the AI generated ones, the second layer, and you push them to think of new possibilities. All right? So, one pitfall to watch out for, it's super easy to generate tons of ideas in seconds with an AI. Okay? Don't do that, because it's going to overwhelm and scare your participants. Trust me, I've learned it the hard way on the first workshop where I use AI ideas. So that's why in Storms, on one click, you only generate 3 ideas. Okay. In Miro, you can manage this, but you see what I do? I have an AI backlog. It's a reserved area for AI. And as a facilitator, I only drop 1 or 2 or 3 ideas at a time in the main collaborative space so that the participant can digest them and springboard on them. All right. So now we've seen the right way to use AI generated ideas, but in fact, there are much better ways to leverage AI during brainstorming. So this is what I really like to do with AI. Instead of having AI to generate the ideas, we have AI that triggers fresh ideas in the participant's mind. That's the clever way to use AI, and there are probably hundreds of ways to achieve this, but I'm going to show you 3 of these, okay? And the first one is to build upon the ideas of the AI. So that's one of the easiest way. Is you see here, I take one of the idea from the AI with a little emoji bot, and in Storms there's a feature. In one click, you can turn an AI generated idea into a cluster like that, an empty space, where the participants can add related ideas. So start composting kitchen waste, and then we can think of some more ideas related to that. You can also do that in Miro. As I told you, it's not a problem of tool, it's a problem on how you can do that and being creative. So here I have my zone for AI ideas, and I just move one of the idea and put it as a label for a new brainstorming zone where the participants can contribute their ideas. All right, another way, um, question storming. I love question storming. So let's see how you can do that in Miro. You start with your main challenge, how we might attract new talent, and then we expand the mind map with AI generated questions. The cool thing about that is that each question approaches the problem from a different angle, and it sparks new kinds of ideas in the participant's mind. Let me show you how you do that in Storms. So it's even easier because, again, there is a dedicated question storming feature. You click on a button and you generate alternate how might we question. So here, for example, the challenge was about carbon footprint with daily action, and you see that it is generating alternative questions such as how might we make eco-friendly habit fun? And fun is an angle that wasn't in the original title. And then they can add their own ideas. All right. Now I have a third example to trigger fresh ideas, and it's using something that is called force connection. So, if you're into CPS, creative problem solving, you probably know a tons of techniques. Well, each one of them can probably be adapted to become an AI-powered creativity technique. By the way, something I'm going to do in a CPS conference in Sestri next year, we're going to build AI-powered creativity techniques. So today I picked one that I really love, the force connections. And in one sentence, a force connection is an activity where you show a visual trigger, like an image, and or like a painting, and you ask the participant to make connection between the image and the challenge at hand. And this forces them to bridge unrelated ideas and spark super unusual insights. Great creativity technique. So let me show you. And by the way, this was an example suggested by Yves and other members of the AI Thinkers Club. He is doing art and AI in museum to enhance creative thinking. I don't know if you are here, Yves. So one issue with force connection, because I've done that with a lot of participants, it's not really easy. If you have untrained participants, it's not easy for them to draw these connections. And that's where I can use AI to hallucinate some of these connections. So let's have a look at the prompt. A very simple one. Find 5 ways to connect this unrelated painting to our workshop challenge. Our challenge is how to attract new talent. And you see again that I'm using image as an output. And look
Alex,
also.
I think you might be thinking you're sharing, but you're actually not, right?
Thank you so much. Isn't it better? So yeah, I'm using here again. I'm pasting the image of the painting in ChatGPT, and then I ask it to find 5 ways to connect this painting to the challenge on how to attract new talent. And again, I'm using steps. First, describe the picture with a lot of details. Because why? Because once you're going to have all the small details in the context window, each one of the small details will be an opportunity for a first connection. Then develop the challenge, and then 5 ways to connect both. And the end results is plenty of detailed connections. So then that's the technical way of doing it. Now, how do you facilitate that? Okay, because the AI is going to list plenty of why connections. So you can read these connections out loud. You can print them and give one different connection to the different groups of participants. Really, the main idea is to leverage these unexpected connections. And you're going to springboard. You're going to have the participants springboard on this connection to generate creative ideas to solve the challenge. Voilà. I hope you enjoyed this different use case relating to brainstorming ideas. As you can see, the sky is the limit. And again, for those who have members of the AI Thinkers Club, there will be more. Let me show you. I think that, yeah, there will be an event in December that will be focused entirely on the right way to use AI for idea generation. So it's going to be a full hour dedicated on that. All right, so Let's explore another use case for AI during live sessions, roasting participants' idea. So, it can be sensitive for participants who have their ideas critiqued by others, but by an AI, from my experience, they don't really care. So you can have ChatGPT do that for you. But the problem with ChatGPT, it's not very convenient in the context of a workshop if you have plenty of ideas and plenty of participants. And in Storms, sorry for the shameless promotion, but it's an interesting feature. You have the list feature with the magic add button. So here in this example, we have an idea, and it's a fake example. But let's say we have a nice idea, and we have a small group of participants who need to develop that idea. Here, I have created 3 lists. And it's following the GPS framework by my friend Tim Herson. Tim, are you there, by the way? I don't know if you're there. Anyway, so good, what's good about the idea, problem, what's the issue with the idea and why, and step it up. How might we improve? And it's another assess use case, by the way. And you can use it live with the participants. They can do the good on their own, but they can also click on the magic add button. Okay, so they use the AI to critique, and then once they have that, they step back and they read everything, they reflect, and then they can edit the initial idea to turn it into a stronger idea, a concept. Okay, so it goes from the seed of an idea to a robust concept. Super powerful again. I have another use case that I think a lot of you are waiting for. So clusterization. Bye-bye, Chris. Thank you for staying until now. So clusterization. As I work with super large group, it's common to get hundreds of ideas in a couple of minutes. And now in 2024, AI can help. You have tools like Miro, Mural, Storms, Klaxoon. They are using something that is called embeddings. I'm not going to go into that, but it's a way to find similarities between ideas, right? And what you see on the slide is a real life output from a workshop I did with a lot of people a few months ago. And the AI grouped the most similar ideas into clusters. So it's clusterization, but it's called cluster by similarity. And then also it finds a name for each one of the group. Sorry, it's in French. So it took something like 15 seconds. And yes, I can tell you the participants and my clients were very impressed by the speed and results, but I was not. I mean, don't let that fool you. What matters is how you use AI clustering with your participants. Why? For several reasons. The first one is that AI clustering is never perfect, and I don't think it will ever be. It can put wrong ideas into the wrong baskets, or it cannot see some similarities, etc., etc. So again, it's 80% good or 70% good. It's rarely 95% good. Second, and more important, clustering by similarity. Clustering by similarity, it's probably the weakest form of clustering. Let me give you just one example. Clustering opposite ideas might lead to much better insights. Two ideas contrary put together, oh, insight. And this is only one of the many what I call power clustering strategies. And the third thing, and probably the most important, that imagine that you have, even if you imagine that you have a cutting edge AI clustering engine that does plenty of different power clustering strategies and is able to see a lot of things, well, if AI does all the work, participants won't fully understand the end results and won't take ownership of the ideas. Yes, clusterization is a sense-making process, and it can only be done by the human, otherwise it will never make sense. So that would be a catastrophe for the rest of the workshop. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to go much further, but again, I have a dedicated session on clustering by the end of November, entirely focused on what I think is the right way to use AI for clustering. And I will present strategies that I've never shared before because I have invented them this summer. And I have never seen these strategies anywhere else. So that's a little bit of teasing. In the meantime, you can stay in the safe zone, okay? Um, you can still use clustering by similarities, but just think of how you can apply the three principles: the sandwich, the springboard, and the self-disclosure. So I leave it to you as an exercise how an AI-powered clustering activity would look like if you apply the three principles. All right? I mean for the power clustering session. Yes, clustering is plenty of things. And also clustering can be different things depending on the objectives. So that's why it's a complex topic. Okay, that was a hard one. Let's do a fun one now. And that's, by the way, that would be the last one for the facilitation category. Using AI to randomly pick the next presenter. So you could do that in many ways, but I'll show you the fanciest and fun way. So maybe this one is not really serious, but anyway, I'm going to use Claude AI for coding capabilities. And the first thing is that I'm going to make it, so it's not only, again, about the tech, it's about how you use it. So I'm going to make it movement-based. I'm going to ask the participant to stand up, take their badge off, and put it on the table. Okay? And then I take a photo. So here it's a fake example with 3 badges. I take a photo and upload it to Claude. So this is image to text. Now Claude has access to the names of the participants. Obviously, with a photo, you could do that with 10, 15, 20 people. I don't think it's going to work with more than that because of the vision capabilities and constraints. Anyway, so if you have a group of 10 people, you could do that. Now for the fanciest part, I'm going to ask Claude to generate an app that not only picks a name randomly, but also asks them random icebreaker questions. So this is how it looks like. And I'm going to, I hope that the QR code is going to work, so you can try it. And also, I'm going to show you that here. So that's the example of the artifact. I just have to click on the button. So that was created by the AI in 10 seconds. Alex, what's your go-to comfort food? Julian, what's your favorite book and why? Isabel, if you could learn any skill instantly, what would it be? So yeah, you see, it took the 3 names and generated random questions to ask to the different names. And all of that with only a 2-line prompt. So again, this example shows you that you only find use cases if you know understand the full range of capabilities of a modern AI assistant. Also, the full value is not only in the prompt, but how you use it in the context of your workshop. If you have the participants stand up, you leverage the badge, you have them take the phone. So maybe you put, you see, you could, I'm going to scan it. So maybe, yeah, this one works. Then I scan it, I put it on my phone, I give the phone to one of my participants, and the participant is going to click on the button and then turn to the people that the name appear and ask the question. So now you have something that is interesting because you have movement, you are using the participants, they are doing the asking the question themselves. That's going to make the difference. I have a related warning. You see that I'm doing random. So here it's not a problem, but for other use case, please keep in mind that you have to be very careful when you try to achieve randomness with an LLM, because a large language model, because remember, an LLM is only a machine that predicts the next most probable world, and predicting the next most probable world is the reverse of random, right? So you have ways to overcome that by the coding capabilities, for example, that's outside the scope of this meeting. Just keep that in mind. All right, we are nearing the end of this marathon. What time is it? Where is my phone? Okay. Bye-bye, Susanna. Hope you enjoyed. Okay. Yeah. One asked ChatGPT to make a random grouping of 16 people, and it had a whole lot of trouble. Yeah, so you need to ask it to create an app and use the coding capabilities, because in code you have true randomness that you cannot have with Gen AI. Okay, so last step of this marathon of use case, and before we finish, let's explore a couple of more ways that AI can help with workshop wrapping up and documentation. So AI can analyze and summarize contribution lives. So this one too could be a full session. So that's an idea for a session in January, I think. Let me show you something that I implemented in one of my webinars. So I had just finished a session, and I had this like-dislike question board that I asked participants to fill in to give me some feedback about the webinar. And what I did is that I exported. So in Storms, you can do that. You can export all the answers into a document. And I have a pre-prepared prompt, so a prompt that you can prepare before and you can test with dummy data to make sure that it works. So that's a tip. Prepare your prompt before, test it with dummy data, so that when you do it live with the participants, it's going to work better. And within 5 minutes, so ask them to go for a coffee break, I had a structured summary ready to go. So here, you see that I was able to have a summary for each one of the clusters of ideas, the main keywords, and also the emotions evoked. Okay, so, I mean, the sky is the limit in what you can ask to analyze inside the different inside the different contributions. I just want to. There is a very important card that we didn't see today. Let me find it. This one. Hallucination. That's the elephant in the room. Can you trust AI summaries 100%? No, you cannot. You never can trust an AI 100%. It can be biased, and it can include hallucinated details. But still, it's not because of that you cannot use it live. You just need to use it as a way to facilitate better conversation. So what you would do is I would display the AI generated summary and then ask question to my audience. Does this summary capture your main points? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there any key element that are missing? Should we adjust or remove anything? So think of it this way. The AI isn't replacing the discussion. It is creating more time for meaningful dialogue and handling all the initial heavy lifting. Last use case, we're going to go quickly because this one is very complex. And again, it's an approach from one of our members, Deb. She told us that she conducts in-depth analysis collaborating with ChatGPT, and she's using a memory feature so that it remembers the methodology it used, and then she can call back because she's giving it a name, and she said, hey, ChatGPT, let's use blah, blah, blah approach that we used last time. And ChatGPT is able to remember the exact way it was analyzing the contributions, and it was able to reproduce that. So it's kind of a sophisticated AI implementation, but remember, again, we've seen the full spectrum today from very simple and fun to very complex, automated, and sophisticated. You see this little guard about data privacy? This is an important topic. How do you deal with privacy? Bye-bye, Alessandra. So first of all, you need to make sure that you have the right settings in ChatGPT. So here, for example, you go there, settings, data control, and you see improve the model for everyone. It should absolutely be off, especially when you do this kind of thing with clients' data. Okay, it means that OpenAI is not going to take all your data and use it to do the training of the next version of ChatGPT. But then you have other considerations. I mean, you have to ask your clients what are their policy about using AI, and maybe they don't want you to use AI at all, even if you have checked off the ability for OpenAI to use your data. Maybe they have their own AI. So that's a cool thing, and it's going to happen more and more because then you can ask to use their own AI, and that's why it's also good to be able to be proficient with different kinds of AI assistant, Copilot. I think that you're going to find that in most companies, you're going to get Microsoft Copilot. And then the last thing is that you could use a local large language model. Again, that's beyond the scope of this webinar. I would say that the problem is that currently, even the best local open source model that you can get on your laptop, I've made some tests and they can do some simple thing, but for a complex task that to analyze a large set of data, it's going to be tricky because they're going to hallucinate a lot. Anyway, that was a few warnings. So now, time for action for you. I have a little exercise that you can do tomorrow or tonight or this afternoon. You grab a piece of paper, you make a matrix like that, main task and the different dream categories, and then you put the paper on the floor and you throw a coin and you have a look at where, oh, sorry. Again, I was not showing. So do a matrix like that with the different tasks, the dream categories, and you see the different intersection. You print that, you put it on the floor, and you throw a coin. And then you see that here you have reflect and facilitate. And now you need to brainstorm. That's called a brainstorming matrix. So you can brainstorm all the use case. And then you start again with another combination, maybe analyze and sell, etc., etc. All right. Before we move on to the questions, remember the finisher bag? So what time is it? 16. I'm good. I'm good. So you did it. You were able to endure my terrible French accent and the 15 use cases. Anyway, somewhere bullshit rather than hallucination. You know, Deborah, your comment about hallucination. Hallucination is the true nature of a large language model. Generative AI, the other word is invent things that don't exist. That's what they are supposed to do. So hallucination are their true nature. And we need to build on that instead of trying to fight them. Okay, so finisher gift. You're gonna get access to a Google Doc with all the prompts. You can I'm going to paste maybe I'm going to paste the link here. No, I don't have the link, but hey-alex.link/gift, and it's going to give you access, and I'm going to send an email with that link anyway. You're going to get all the prompts. You're going to get the detail of the check-in GPT. You're going to get how I built the prompt for the check-in GPT, which is even more interesting than the final results. I'm using something that I call reverse prompting. Also, if you want to test all those live brainstorming strategies, well, you don't have to buy software because now you have a Storms coupon. It's worth $150. I'm just giving it to you like that. And that's free all month to test the strategies that we covered today. And also something special, I'm opening up some new seats for the AI Thinkers Club for those who are not members yet. And yeah, there is a very exclusive offer with plenty of gifts if you want to become a member. But before, please, it's my baby. Let me show you around. Okay, can I share? Let me show you around. So that's the AI Thinkers Club. You have different categories, different spaces. Here, for example, member sharing section, insight, news, tips. For example, here I was sharing about the GPT and how I built the GPT. Then you have the live events. We're doing plenty of different stuff. We're doing we're tinkering with tools. We have the jamborees where we share prompts, and we have the deep dive, one on clustering ideas, one on idea generation. That could be one on documenting the sessions, etc. And also the weekly activities. So the weekly activities are à la carte. You build your own program. So soon we're going to be tinkering with Notebook by Google. And the tinkering activities are spread over several weeks, so you can really do it whenever you want. We have just started the group reading with Eve and the book Co-Intelligence, and we also have this use case storming. We are building the biggest use case library for facilitators and trainers, and it started last week. And I think we have already plenty of golden nuggets. So the cool thing is that you have plenty of different activities live, asynchronous. You can pick what works for you and you can build your own program. So if you want to join, well, tonight that door is open, but only tonight for a few hours. And let me show you that. So I've put together something I've never done before. I think the actual members are going to be jealous because they didn't have that. So first, you're going to get full access to everything in the club, all the events, all the activities, um, 1 week access to the recordings. No stress if you can't make it live. You have 1 week to look at them. Also, I'm doing something new because I want you to really get the most of it since the first day. So I'm offering an onboarding session for everyone who joins. We're going to do that in group. And then there is the bonus package. Honestly, it's worth 800 euros. So first of all, there will be my prompting masterclass that's going to be in December or January. 3 hours of deep dive into everything I know about prompting. It's going to be a new version. It's going to be priced at 500 euros. And again, it's going to be recorded if you can't make it live. You're going to get 6 months of Storms Pro with all the AI features. So no need to buy an extra tool to test and explore the use of AI for facilitation. And also a small gift, big tuto number 1, where I am creating a prompt live to analyze a meeting. So all this together, the membership, the events, personal onboarding, the extra, all of that, I do it for 149 euros for 6 months, one-shot payment, everything included. So yeah, it's just for tonight. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat if you really are interested. Voilà. It's the link is not clickable. Let's do that. Voilà. Voilà. So that's the end of my shameless promotion. Promise, I'm going to stop that. What time is it? 23. So you can stay if you want, because we still have a little bit of time. You can ask question in the chat. You still have the QR code if you want to take on the offering for the AI Thinkers Club. And yeah. Hi, Hélène, you were there. Bye-bye, Mark. Feel free to stay if you want. Ask me some question. Merci, Gail. Thank you. Whoa, I don't have the time to read. Go too fast. I always have question. Eduardo. I can ask it, Eduardo, if you want. Salut, Maël. How do I use the tech in on... Yeah, vas-y.
Do you already try the micro use cases with some shortcuts automation from Mac or iOS or something like that? I'm having pretty good fun on it.
What do you mean shortcut automation?
Do you use Mac or
No, I'm on
iPhone?
Windows. I'm on Windows.
Okay, because they have like shortcuts is like a program that you can do
Yeah.
steps
Yeah, I've
and you
seen
can
that.
call applications like even ChatGPT and using the micro use cases
Oh, yeah.
with automation, you can link them up and do some pretty good and awesome stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be nice to share on the platform if you have an example. Just try to share one specific and tangible example with the others. It would be nice to see what kind of thing we can do, and it would open some.
I will put inside the micro use case.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent.
Okay, awesome.
Let's do that. So thank you for saying thank you, everyone. How about using AI to theme these comments? Yeah, that would be great. That would be absolutely possible to build an app, but it's not possible without coding something because we don't have access. You need to use the API of Zoom to access the comments. So I cannot do it. You couldn't do it live, but we could code an application that do that. Thank you, everyone. What presentation app are you using? Just to note that the slides were very blurry. So that's a problem because I'm using something called OBS to stream my slides on a virtual camera, and it was not supposed to be blurry. So yeah, sorry for that. At one point, you mentioned that you check the prompt first with something that's sounding like dummy data. I don't know.
Alex, I couldn't hear your accent, what you were saying, but you said first put the prompt through, and you said a word that sounded like demi-data. Anyway, I missed it.
Yeah, that's my terrible French accent. I'm sorry.
I say.
Do you remember which use case it was?
Yeah, it was feeding back the feedback answers into a doc, and it said where you do agree, disagree, missing things that are missing, whether
Yeah.
the feedback piece, and you said first check the prompt in And I just missed what you said.
Sorry.
I think he said dummy data. Dummy
Probably.
data.
Dummy data?
Yeah, probably fake data.
Thank you. Dummy data.
Dummy. I'm gonna try to make it better next time.
Okay, thank you.
So I use the presentation app that I'm using is Google Slides, but I'm streaming it using OBS, and this is how I'm doing stuff like that, going from one view to another. But if the slides are blurry, that's a problem. Who is a typical member of the AI Thinkers Club? Well, facilitators, trainers, coaches, solopreneurs, basically everyone who is working with clients and in a very small teams. That's probably the typical persona of the members. It would be amazing if you could show that. I failed to set it up to the... I don't know what you're... thank you, Alex. Yeah.
Gotta go. So thank you for the session and awesome work you're doing.
Thanks
Good
a
to
lot.
catch.
Thank you for helping me.
No problem. Always here. Take care.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Ciao, Alex. Yeah.
Ciao, Alessia. À la prochaine. Dolores.
Dankeschön.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Dolores, you wouldn't be able to start the membership until next month.
Dankeschön.
Yes, no problem. Send me an email. My email, I'm going to paste it here at... we can always find arrangement, ways to...
Thank you. That would be so helpful.
Yeah, of
I
course.
could not
I
add another
understand.
hour
My goal is not
anything
to...
my work. And,
Yeah, of course.
and,
My goal is not to trap
yeah.
anyone. So yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye, Andrew. I'm sorry, there is so many comments. I cannot handle them all and answer all of them. So please, if you have a pressing question, send me an email. Connect me on LinkedIn. Go find me. I'm not far. I'm in Paris, so go in Paris and find me. We can have a cafe. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm just going through the comments and see if I can see. Developer here curious about the stack you are using on your server. For Storms, I guess we are, the main app is Ruby on Rails, but we are also using something called Erlang, for the real-time stack, and also a lot of JavaScript, Vue.js. Can you reshare the gift bag link? Yes, I'm going to do that. I don't know if you are still here. Okay. Gift bag link. Also, I'm going to send an email to everybody who was present here. I really hope it works making people join the club. Well, I hope that too. Yes, I can only sell to business people. But again, send me an email if you're having an issue. We'll find ways. Yes. Okay, everyone. Well, if you're good, thank you very much for being here, for listening to me, for going through this marathon of use case. And again, please reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me, I've given you my email, and you can find me on the AI Thinkers Club platform, obviously. Bye-bye, everybody. Ciao, ciao. À bientôt. Au revoir.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Yeah?
Amazing. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your generosity of time and blowing my mind.
Really? You're not
Oh,
saying that
yeah.
to be nice with me?
No, no. I feel like I need to take this webinar a second time because pretty well everything was new and exciting. Yeah, so
You know what?
wow.
I think that there might be a little bit too much in this presentation. I don't know if I'm going to put the 15 use case next time. Maybe only 10. Maybe there are too many.
10 might be great. And just I may have missed well, I did miss your opening slides because of tech issues. So I don't know if you had a slide like, let's say, sticky notes naming each of the 15, like a little
little
visual
summary.
big picture. Yeah, even just like, 15 boxes or 10 boxes.
So that was in my to-do list, but that's one of the things I couldn't do on time.
No, that's okay. Your slides are incredible. And actually, I don't know if you saw my question, Alex, but
Maybe not.
when you have your slide that you're showing us, things are adding in or you're doing AI, are you in a whiteboard and
No.
it's so smoothly operating, or are you in a PowerPoint?
So this is Google Docs. So, but you have animations. You see on the side here. So when I show in slideshow mode, it does things like that. And then I'm using something so that I can show both the slides and myself at the same time. So I'm using something that is called OBS. But I'm disappointed that the quality that it shows of the slide is blurry. Because I made some tests and it was supposed to be good enough. But is it blurry for you, for example, here?
No, it's good for me.
Oh, that's weird.
But yeah, I just was taking some screenshots because I didn't know if you provided these slides. So
No, I won't provide all the slides, but I will provide the recording for those who attended, and then there is some more resources in the gift presentation.
Right.
But
Yeah, understandable.
yeah.
So I didn't necessarily notice any blurring. I guess I could show you my face, but I'm blurry because my background's blurry. And by the way, whose evening only? I'm in Canada. Look, you're well into evening, so
yeah, what time is it? Yeah, 6:35. It's okay.
Yeah, many hours. No.
Anyway, feel free to reach out if you want, and thank you for the feedback. Thank you for everything, and bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.